Sorry, I always say hi so high pitched and I don't actually know why. But hi, welcome to my YouTube video. Sorry, I am feeling a little bit awkward. I will ease into the video as we go through. But hi, how are we all doing? I have had a very busy time since my last video. Hence why it has taken me so long to actually film another video. Me and Molly actually moved in together. That was only recently though that happened. Like, we were living together from June, but at my mum's house, whereas now we have our own place together and it's really nice. It's just so nice to have our own space. I don't really want to go into it too much because this video is going to be a kind of reading update on where I'm at with what I'm reading, what I've just read, and what I'm planning to read next. In the near future. I have been doing like quite a bit of reading lately. Me and Molly have actually been reading in bed a lot. When we go up to bed, it's usually like around 9 o'clock and then sometimes even 8:30. And then we just read for a little bit and it's really nice, which means that I've been doing quite a bit of reading. I work part-time at the moment. Which means that Monday and Friday she's in work but I'm not, so on those days I get quite a bit of reading done as well. I've just had a lot more time to read lately. The one book I've just finished is called The Tea Dragon Society and it is a really cute book. It's about this tea that you can get from dragons. It's from like the clippings of their fur or scales, I can't remember what they call them, and they make this tea with it, and when you drink the tea you can be transported to different memories. So not only can you relive your own memories, but you can also relive memories of other people, and it's a really sweet book. The characters are so lovely. It's just so adorable and so wholesome. Like, look how beautiful that is. It is such a beautiful book, so I highly recommend it. You've also got queer representation, you have disabled representation, you have POC representation, and I think it's just, I love it. I have nothing bad to say about this book. The next book I want to talk about is How to Kill Your Family. And I have a massive bone to pick with this book because I loved it. I loved it so much and I was really hopeful for the ending, but I hated it. I hated the ending so much and it makes me so sad because this book was well on its way to becoming one of my like top 5 favourite books of all time. I really enjoyed it, but didn't like the ending. Having said that, it didn't ruin the rest of the book, so I did still give it 4 stars because I thought I still loved the rest of the book. The plot I really enjoyed. I thought it was very well thought out. I loved the characters. I loved the narration of the main character. I loved the setup of it. I loved the main character's wit and sarcasm and humour. I loved the murders. I thought they were really great. I thought they were well executed. Personally, I thought they were really creative. Unfortunately, it got 4 stars from me, but that's still a really good rating. So yes, I wanted to talk to you about my current reads as well. Some of them I am reading on my Kindle app. I usually read them on my phone, but I'm filming this video on my phone. So I downloaded the Kindle app on my iPad so that I can show you them. One of the books I'm currently reading is called Can You See Me? I really am enjoying it so far. It's about a autistic girl who, I believe she's 11. what I'm gathering is that she's telling the story, but she refers to herself in third person, if that makes sense. So the actual story is in first person, like the narration, but she refers to herself in third person, which is a little bit confusing at times, but I've gotten used to it now. So I believe that's what the idea was. I believe that was what it was meant to be. And I'm really enjoying it. This is one that I've been reading in bed, and I've been saying to Molly, so Molly read it before me. She read it about 3-4 weeks ago and was like, Libby, you need to read this book. And I've been reading it and like saying, like, everything relates to me. I'm like, I'll be reading it in bed and I'll like put it down and I'm like, Molly, this is exactly what I do, or this is exactly what I was like when I was this age. Like, everything that's happening, like behavior wise and emotions wise and feelings and thoughts, like, this is how I am. This book is me. Which is really interesting because I'm awaiting to talk to a counsellor that specialises in autism to help prepare me to ask my psychiatrist to be referred for an autism assessment. So it's actually really interesting to read a book written by two people that are autistic and to like notice myself in a lot of what is being said. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the book. It really puts things into perspective for me and is definitely helping me see things in a different light. It's a very good book so far. I'm almost finished. I think it will likely be probably like a 4-star read maybe. I actually set up a book club with my friend Sophie, an online book club where we read 2 books a month, and I read one book and Sophie reads another book. And one of the books last month was Islands of Mercy, and because I was moving house like during the time we were reading the books, I fell very behind, so I am still reading it and I'm only like 40% of the way through, but this is what it looks like. I am really enjoying it. I didn't think I would. It took a while to get into. Once I was into it, I've started to really enjoy it. There's 4 separate stories going on at once, and I actually really like books like that. So it's definitely interesting. One of the stories follows a baker, Mrs. Morrissey, and another story follows Jane, who is a nurse to her father, who is a surgeon. And she's very interesting. I really like her as a character. And then we follow Valentine, who is also a doctor. I can't remember if he's a surgeon, but he's definitely a doctor. And then we also follow Valentine's brother. So he travels and he's searching to find a rare bird, or like a bird that hasn't been discovered yet. And we hear about like all of their stories, and it's really interesting and I'm really enjoying it so far, but it's quite a slow read. So I haven't been reading this one as much as the others. I think this one will actually only be like a 3-star read, pushing a 4 if it gets better. But I am enjoying it. It's kind of like a chill read at the moment. I am also reading The Tower at the End of Time. This one I believe is like middle grade. I think, so there is another book and it's called The House at the Edge of Magic. And I think that book came before this one. I've read this one first, which I know you're not supposed to do, but I bought the book before I knew that, and I started reading it before I knew that. It was only like when I was reading it and I realised how much had happened before that I was thinking, I think there's a first book, and then there is a picture of the first book on the back. Well, I think it's the first book. This one is really cute though. It's got wizards and a talking spoon and a troll, and they're all in a house with a skeleton that talks who lives in a wardrobe, and a girl that was kind of like homeless and was a pickpocket, and she ends up in this house and they're going to a hopscotch competition, and the house has got hiccups, and they want, if you win the hopscotch, you get to the tower at the end of time and you get to ask any question you want and the truth will be revealed. And so the wizard is going to take part in the hopscotch competition to find out how to get rid of the hiccups that the house has. It's so cute. And I really like it. I'm really enjoying it. I think this one will be like 3 stars as well, but it is really sweet, maybe 4, depending on how it ends. I am also then currently reading Take a Moment, and I'm really enjoying this one. However, it's very cringy, and the author over describes things in really strange ways, but I am enjoying it and I do like the plot. I'm just not so keen on the writing style. Me and Molly started reading this one back in like May. It started with me reading it to her on the phone at night to help her sleep because she was really stressed. She was in the middle of her dissertation and she was having like a lot of restless sleep, wasn't sleeping very well, having nightmares. So I would read to her to help her sleep. But then when we moved in together in May/June, obviously we didn't read it anymore. Now every like once or twice a week we'll read like a chapter or 2 together. We are like 40% of the way through, but it's taken us a while. I think this one definitely will be a 3-star. I don't see it going any higher than that, just because the writing style doesn't gel with me and I'm not a fan of language used. For example, at the start of the book, she calls her fiance lover and he calls her kitten, but not in a jokey, sarcastic way, in a serious way, and that is just too cringy for me and I can't. And it happens so many times and I just needed it to stop. That brings me on to books that I want to read soon. I think these are going to be books that I want to read by the end of the year. And I haven't picked too many because I don't want to overwhelm myself. I am quite behind in my Goodreads challenge and I don't think I'm gonna reach it, but we're gonna give it a go. I've only got 5 books here. There will be another 3 for October, November and December for my book club. The first book is Odd Girl Out. This is a book about autism. What are they called? Like tagline? They're not called taglines, but I can't remember what they're called. Is an autistic woman in a neurotypical world. And my friend sent me this, which is so kind of them. They said, good luck with your autism assessment journey, and sent me this book and also sent me some Maltesers, which have been eaten now. The more I read about it, the more I'm feeling more connected to autism as a diagnosis. So I'm really excited to read this and learn more and see if there's anything that kind of jumps out as I relate to it, or like I'm like, that is 100% me, you know? I also want to read this book, Shit Cassandra Saw. I don't actually really know what this book's about, if I'm completely honest with you. It just sounds very good. I got it in a bookshop in Edinburgh and I loved the cover. How gorgeous is that? That instantly drew me in. It's quite a floppy book. If you are on BookTok and Bookstagram, you will know the importance of a floppy book. I'm really excited to read this one. I'll read the back for you. Cassandra may have seen the future, but it doesn't mean she's resigned to telling the Trojans everything she knows. In this ebullient collection, virgins escape from being sacrificed, witches refuse to be burned, whores aren't ashamed, and every woman gets a chance to be a radioactive cockroach warrior who snaps back at catcallers. Gwen E. Kirby experiments with found structures, a Yelp review, a WikiHow article, which her fierce, reverent narrators push against, showing how creativity within within an enclosed space undermines and deconstructs the constraints of themselves. When these women tell the stories of their triumphs as well as their pain, they emerge as funny, angry, loud, horny, lonely, strong protagonists who refuse to be secondary characters a moment longer. From the best and only whore of Cumhaifrid, Patagonia, 1886, to Midwestern girl is tired of appearing in your short stories, Kirby is playing and laughing with the women who have come before her. Then they are telling her, we have always been this way, you just had to know where to look. Well, that sounds bloody fantastic. It is full of short stories. I'm really excited to read this now. That sounds so good. I did read the back of it when I bought it. I just couldn't remember what it was about. I have so many books. I can't remember all of them. I also want to read more Holly Bourne books. So I have the yearbook, which I'm really excited to read. It's got sprayed edges. I love a sprayed edge. This one is set in high school. Paige is used to keeping quiet in the face of lies at school and at home, but she's finally had enough. When she starts to find love through the pages of a book, she finds her voice too. Now she's going to write her story. And the yearbook is the perfect place to do it. Paige Vickers, most likely to Paige Vickers, most likely to bring down the mean girls. Finding your voice, speaking the truth, finding love, all the biggest drama happens in high school. I'm really excited to read this one because I've heard really good things. I don't know why I'm like this. The book for September's book club that I'm reading is called Good Intentions. I haven't actually really read much about it. This one was actually proposed by Sophie, so I haven't actually heard much about it, but I'm very excited to read it. It looks amazing, and the little that I have heard about it, it sounds really good. The final book that I'm going to talk about today is The Sober Diaries. I actually just reached a year sober about 4 days ago. I really am excited to read this. I actually was like way too scared to read any books about being sober for ages because I was worried it would harm my recovery. And then I read Glorious Rock Bottom by Bryony Gordon and I loved it. So I want to read this one now. I'm liking reading more about like different people's journeys through getting sober, and I'm not like entirely sure if the person in this book was an alcoholic, but any sober journey I'm really interested in, not just those who have been addicted to alcohol, but other like journeys as well. So that is all of the books that I wanted to talk about. I get so awkward when I have to end a video. I don't know what to do. I get like, oh, I get so awkward. If you wanted to subscribe, that would be really lovely, but you don't have to. It's not a requirement. It would just be nice if you did. And if you got to the end of this video, well done, because I think this is going to be a long one. It's 36 minutes at the moment. I will edit it down, but I think it's going to be over 10 minutes. So if you got to the end of the video, congratulations. You deserve a hug or a high five. There you go. I gave you a high five. Okay, why am I like this? I need to go now. Thank you. Thank you for watching and have a good day.